Now, let's get to the program. We're talking about mu'tal, weak verbs. What's going on with the weak verbs? Guys, guys. Weak verbs can also be divided into at least the least way you can divide into three, but there's another category I'll just briefly mention. Okay, so what are these categories? The first one they call is mithal. I'll just put the names in and then I'll explain. The second category, it's called Al-Ajwaf. Ajwaf. And the third category is called An-naqis. Okay. And then other ones, Lafif, I'll talk about those a little bit later. Okay. So here it all depends on, everything depends on where is your weak letters. Where? Because remember the weak letters is alif, waw, and ya. Depends on where is the weak letter, things will completely change based on that information or that fact. So if the weak letter is in the beginning, by the way, guys, we're exclusively talking about three letter verbs, okay? If weak letter is in the beginning, then it is called al-mithaal. Okay, if the weak letter is in the middle, it is called al-ajwaf. If weak letter is in at the end, it's called an-naqis. You understand? And this one, when you have, subhanallah, when you have two weak letters, it could be, then it divides into, I'm not just going to talk about this one. Because it depends on where the two weak letters are. Is it side by side, or basically you have these two permutations. You can have weak verbs, one in the beginning and one at the end, or you can have weak verbs connected side by side. Guys, just leave this one alone for right now. It's too much anyway. You understand? See, things get really complicated. Al-mithaal is not that bad. Al-mithaal is not that bad, and that's why they call it al-mithaal. It's like similar, it's not completely screwed up, but there's some issues, but usually it's much better than the other ones. Okay, so can anyone give me an example of a verb that you have a weak verb, weak letter in the beginning? Most of the time, most of the time, it will be wow in the beginning. There are sometimes is going to be yeah. Most of the time it will be wow. Yeah, waqafa, yes. Waqafa, wajada, okay, wasala. You understand? Now, so here's your first weak verbs. Uh starts with wow. What happens in this kind of situation? Usually what happens is not that bad, as I said, but only thing happens in the present tense. Let's see what should have been in the present tense. So we have, let's just do the wasala. Wasala, right? The present tense should have been what? You just bring ya, right? And then everything else is there. That should have been the present tense. Dhahaba. Yes? See? You should get the sukun in the first one. You got the sukun in the first one. Everything else the same, right? But then this is extremely problematic for the Arabs for a lot of reasons. Okay? Sorry, yadhabu, yes, good. What am I saying? Yes, yadhabu, good. So this one has a lot of problems with Arabs. Why? Few reasons. Number one, you have two weak letters, and this is fine. There's no problem with having two weak letters, but the issue is you don't have the wow, the haraka that goes with wow. If it was dhamma here, then we wouldn't have any problem. You salah, that's fine. But now you have fatha and then ya and then wow. It's like almost like, because fatha is what, alif, wow is wow, ya is ya. It's like too much problem. In, in advanced class they will explain what's going on, why there are rules. None of these things, guys, are like arbitrary. Everything has a rule. It's not like one day they're thinking, no, everything has a rule. Because if they break the rule, the other things will get screwed up. So everything has a rule. So but I just cannot, I don't have enough time to talk about all the rules. But I'll just tell you what happens. They will drop this wow. They will drop this wow. And once they drop this wow, what are you left with? What did we have here? It should be kasra, right? So what happens when you drop this wow? You come with yasilu, yasilu. Okay? Wasala, yasilu. You remove the wow from the present tense verb. And then when we have a situation that, this one becomes dhamma again, we have to bring back the wow. Because the only problem we're having right now is that because you have a fatha here and it's here, that's the situation. Because you'll see in passive voice, the wow will come back. Now, so what would be the, now let's see let's say the present tense verb is yasilu, and we want the command verb. Guys, command verb rule is very simple. Remove the first letter and put the sukun at the end. Simple as that. And then put hamzatul wasl if you need it. Guys, remove first, sukun last, uh, hamza if needed. Simple rule. So let's see if you're right or not. You give me an answer. Let's see, find out. Remove first. Check. Okay, this is done. Sukun last. Check. Okay, so right now I have sil. Hamzatul wasl if I need it. Guys, do I need Hamzatul wasl or not? Why not? Because the same reason what we talked about, we already have a harakat. We only needed Hamzatul wasl if it starts with the sukun. It's already vowel. We have harakat. We don't need Hamzatul wasl. And that's why we're stuck. We're left with sil. Okay? So we have wasala yasilu sil. Yes. That is your weak verb for al-mithaal. When it starts with guys, there's a lot of permutation happens. I cannot, just this much is more. Actually I'm explaining more than uh, it's fine. If you understand this part, as long as you understand the what is weak verbs, and there's a difference between where the weak letters are, so far so good. Alhamdulillah. So what is ajwaf? Ajwaf is when you have a weak letter in the middle. Now I'm pretty sure you guys should be able to give me a lot of verbs that has a weak letter in the middle. Let me hear a few of them, not just one. Okay, so that's good. One is kana, qala, yes. Okay, see the two of them that very important that we have to deal with, they fall under ajwaf. Kana and qala. Qaum, yes, qaum is good, but yes, it's a noun. Good, but it's noun. But it is, you're right, it is one of those ajwaf, but it's noun. Yes. Yes, kama. Kama would be to stand. Yes, kama. Now, okay, you see what's going on? Now, uh, I'll just use one of them. So these are all your, I'll just use the qala for this example. These are all your ajwaf. Guys, thing to remember about ajwaf is when we have wa, ka, fa, even the wow is weak letter, this is, guys, part of the root word. These, these are your root letters. Waw is the root letter, Qaf is the root letter, Fa is the root letter. In Arabic, Alif is never, ever, ever a root letter. Alif can never be part of a root letter. You understand? So this is, you have to understand this thing, okay? Alif is one of the very special word letter in Arabic language. It cannot be part of the root letter. And what else do we know about Alif? It cannot take any harakat. It is always in sukun. So now we have a problem, right? We have only two root letters. We have to know the other ones, right? So this is number one. And the way you find out, it's uh, for the beginners, it's like not too much helpful anyway, is that you have to know its present tense. Okay, in the present tense, the root letter 99% of the time will come back. But sometimes in present tense, the root letter doesn't come back. Then what do you do? Maybe I'll give you two examples here, uh, if I have time. So far, the time is fine. We don't have any problem with time. So, okay, so I have one answer. Yeah, okay, so what is the present tense for qala? Yes, so it will be qala yaqulu. 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 What's going on? So our kaf is here, lam is here. Yeah, we know what yeah. Ah, look what's happening. This alif originally was in fact wow. Okay, so it was wow, but for whatever reason, trust me, that reason is very interesting. Why they put alif, it's like very nice discussion. But that's not the topic here. But whatever reason is, it was transferred from wow into alif. Now I have a question for you. What are the, we have three weak letters, wow, alif, wow, and ya. Okay, so what are the possibilities of this alif being is original? What are the possibilities you have? You have alif, what would be is asl? Like what would be the original letter instead of alif? It can only be what? Wow or ya. It can never be alif, right? Because we're just trying to get rid of alif. Alif is not part of the root anyway. So you only have two options. Either it's wow or it's ya. You understand? Yes. So how do we know? Honestly, at this stage, it's just you have to know it. You have to, if you know it, if you know from the present tense, most of the time your root letter will show up in the present tense. Kana, kana, yakunu. Yes, 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 yakunu. Sara, huh? Yasuru? No, 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 no. Yasiru. See here? What's going on, guys? Our original is ya. It is not, it is not your wow. So you kind of have to know. But the bottom line, what we're saying here is that this alif is never part of the root letter. You have to know what is the root letter. And trust me, guys, it depends. A lot of things, conjugation depends. We're not doing whole chart of the conjugation, but when we do that, you'll see it depends on whether it's wow or ya. So qala yaqulu. Jayyid. Qala yaqulu. Okay, so now we have to deal with our present tense verb, which is very simple, honestly. Very simple, because we look at the present tense verb. Yaqu, I'm putting sukun explicitly for a reason. Yaqulu, and we make it into majzum. Yaqu, and put sukun here, right? We have a lot of problem here, guys. We have a lot of problem. And then we're supposed to do what? Remove. Okay, just fix this one, because right when you come here, you're going to have a problem. What's the problem? What is the problem, guys? I don't see any problem. Yeah, cool. I can say it. I don't have any problem. But what's the problem? As Arabic students at this stage, you have to know some of the fundamental. Yes, meeting of two sukuns. You have to memorize. Iltiqa is sukunain. This is like golden rule. If you don't understand this thing, you just said meeting of two sukun. That's fine. You don't have to say it in Arabic, as long as you know this concept. It never happens. Two sukun never meets in Arabic language. You can say it because when you stop, even if it was dhamma here, if you stop, you'll say it as a sukun yaqul. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about in actual spelling, right? What in Arabic? Oh, so you have iltiqa isu. So by the way, this is what mudaf mudaf ilay. So the word is sukun. For example, two sukun. One sukun is what? Sukun. Okay. So what would be two sukun? Suku. Guys, don't forget our simple nouns. Sukunani. Yes. Yes. Now because it is idafa, it will be sukunaini. Sukunain. Okay. Iltiqa sukunain. It is a very simple way of saying it. You know, you can say it in the sentence, the two sukun doesn't meet, but if you just say it like this or meeting two sukun, that's fine. In Arabic language, it never happens. So you have to do something. The something usually is that you remove. If you can put haraka, you'll put haraka, but most of the time you cannot put haraka. Especially in the middle of the word, you cannot put haraka. You can put haraka when something is end. Remember, we've seen it min al-bait, you say min al-bait. That is, you're just putting haraka. So, because the min, it's the letter is at the end. But in the middle, you cannot do that. So what do? You completely remove this weak letter. So now if you want to say he didn't say it, lam, lam what? Lam yaqul. Yaqul. Without what? Remember, remember what the lam does. Lam makes it majzum. So how do you say qala is he said? Yaqulu, he is saying. Lam yaqul. Remember the lam is like don't. It makes the past, it makes into a negative past tense, but using the present tense. So he did not say exactly. So your only thing you had to do is put sukun here, but because of situation, you remove the waw and you have lam yaqul. And so what do you think we have to do for the command verb, guys? Very simple. Remove the first letter, sukun in the last, hamza if needed. Guys, if you can remember this thing, your life is easy. Remove the first letter, sukun at the last, and put hamzatul wasl if needed. Do I need hamzatul wasl here? Of course not, because we already have dhamma here. If it was sukun, then we would have needed. So the end result is kul. Kul huwallahu ahad. And that's where this kul come from. Okay, so that is your kul. And if you're telling to a lady, it would be kuli. Sorry. A lot of these things I'll just leave it up to you guys to practice and see those things by yourself. But yeah. So that is your what your ajwaf. So it will be kul. Yes, guys. Now, so what we have, an-naqis. Naqis is what? The last one has weak letter. When the last one has weak letter, I don't know which one. Sometimes I because when I was studying a lot, when I was really dealing with weak verbs, sometimes I used to get so, because guys, you haven't seen anything about weak verbs yet. You are not conjugating with anything. You're not conjugating with nothing. Right? So when you start conjugating, I used to like even ask myself, which one is harder? I used to go back and forward, arguing with myself. Is this one is the most crazy guy, or this guy is the crazy? I still don't know, because both of them has complication. But this one probably is a little bit more crazier. And don't get me even started with the Lafif Jayed. So what happens? It is when you have a last one with a weak letter. Do you guys remember, or can you guys guys know any verb that ends with weak letter? You have da'a. What is da'a? Hmm? This verb in Quran, lot of times, guys. Lots of times, guys. Oh, what happens? To call or invite. Invite. Okay. Now you can see what's happening. Our last letter is the weak. Now we have alif. Do you think alif will ever be part of the weak, part of the the root? No, it will never be part of the root. Why? Because alif is never part of the root. It's the same situation here. So alif represents some other letter. What is the letter? We have to find out same way what we've done with the present tense. So with the al-ajwaf, you have to go back to the present tense. Like Brother Karim said, da'a yadu. Yes, da'a yad'u. Now you know that the present tense, the alif stands for wow. Okay, this alif stands for wow. Naha, naha. Guys, what is this? Please, at this point, don't disappoint me. This is alif. It's not ya. It's alif. Naha, okay? And this is da'a. Both of them are alif. But what did we say? Alif is not part of the root. So doesn't matter how it looks like, it's still not part of the root. So that means this alif stands for something. Guys, this too is extremely simple to find out. Rule. You're paying attention? If you stick alif, alif al-qa'imah, al-alif al-qa'imah, then it will always be wow. Always. There's no exception. We're talking about three-letter verbs, by the way. And if it is alif al-maqsura, then it will be ya. Naha yanhi. Naha yanhi. Okay? Now, here, the amor of these two is very important and very important. The command verb of these two is extremely important. And you'll see why. So, how do we make command verb? First thing we start with what? Present tense verb. So let's start with yad'u. 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 Yes, guys, simple stuff. Remove, I'm gonna do all at once. Remove the first, okay, and put the sukun at the end. I put the sukun at the end. Now I have to think about, do I need hamzatul wasl or not? Do I need hamzatul wasl, guys? I didn't need any hamzatul wasl here. Still, no hamzatul wasl. Do I need hamzatul wasl? Why? Why do I need hamzatul wasl? Sukun. Yes. It's starting with sukun. That's the only reason. See, this is not like somebody is just playing. It's simple. We need it. It's not like, to make our life difficult. It's just we need it. If we didn't need it, we're not going to use it. Yes, we need a sukun. Now, the second question, guys, is whether or not we put kasra or dhamma. We never put a fatha in the command verb. Whether or not we put kasra or dhamma. What is the answer? Why? Okay, Ain Kalima has it. Yes, Ain has Dhamma. Yes, everybody's getting it. Because the way we find out is in the look at the middle on the Ain of Kalima. I like the way you said it because it's very important to understand. Well, here Ain is, I don't know which way you said it, Brother Karim. I'm giving you too much credit, maybe. Maybe maybe because this one, because when in Arabic grammarian, when people say Ain of Kalima, they're referring to this verb, the pattern, fa'ala. Okay, when I say fa of kalima, what is the fa of, let's quick, what is the fa of kalima in this word? Dal, yes. Excellent. Okay. So lam of kalima here would be wow. And ayn of kalima is ayn. So that means that's why I was like, do you think ayn because of this ayn or ayn because of now? Say it. Yes. The proper way of saying it, if ayn of kalima has dhamma, then you put dhamma. And if it doesn't, whatever fatha or kasra doesn't matter, you put kasra. So here it has dhamma, so we put dhamma. Okay? So we put dhamma. Ud'u. But guys, we have a problem. We have a problem. This is, I cannot explain too much, but what happens is that when you have a sukun on a weak letter, you have to put sukun on a weak letter, you have to drop this one because it's interesting what really happens here, but forget that right now. As soon as you have a weak letter, because it was ud'u, right? You have to drop this one. So you cannot have the weak letter at the end anymore. Drop your weak letter from the end. Think of like this, very simple. When you're making a sukun at the end and the end has a weak letter, you have to remove the weak letter. And that is your state of sukun at the end. This waw must go, and then you're left with ud'u. Ud'u. Okay? That is your command. Next one. So quickly I have to say, see if you guys can follow through what's happening. So we have the present tense verb anyway, right? So we remove the present, we remove the present, the first letter. So we have noon with sukun, then we have ha and ya, and we put sukun. I'm going a little bit quickly here so that you understand what's going on. So that means it should be, and of course we replace ya with hamzatul wasl. Now, before I do anything, my question is, what do I get in hamzatul wasl? Harakat, dhamma, fatha, kasra. Yes, kasra. Fatha in command, we never get fatha it's either dhamma or kasra. Okay, dhamma, which we guys talked about, if it has, yes. If it doesn't have dhamma in the middle, the in ayn of kalima, which ha is the ayn of kalima here, it has a kasra, then we put kasra. So it will be in he, right? So it's in he, right? And same situation we just talked about. You have weak letter at the end and you're making it into majzoom state. Every time you make it into majzoom state and you have weak letter at the end, you have to drop it. So now looks like one of the interesting thing happened in he. So many problem with this thing. Number one, it has a kasra at the end and it is a verb. Verbs can never have kasra at the end. And remember what I said, until you deal with weak verbs. So when you learn something that verb never has a kasra, trust me, this one doesn't have a kasra because it shouldn't have kasra, because you should have the ya is there, but ya was dropped. That's why you're left with the kasra. Okay, so this is the only thing I wanted to show you. Here you can see it's left with dhamma because we had udwu with waw. Because it ends with ya, we have inhi with kasra. So, if you understand what verb means, this should have been very troubling for you because we have a kasra at the end, but that is for different reason. Okay, that is for different reason. So that's all I wanted to mention right now. Guys, it's, congratulations on every one of you, subhanallah. I'm not joking. I'm not joking because we sat through the whole thing. Whatever we talked about, I think that's fine. I'll be really, really honest with you. Whatever we talked about, we probably just understood like 5 to 10% of the weak verbs. Okay, and I'm not exaggerating here.